Hello everyone! Today's story is interesting, but if you find it compelling, please consider subscribe my channel. The channel's been quiet lately, and your support keeps it going. Let's get into it. For 7 years I covered my parents' expenses, only for my brother to remark, "You don't even have a family of your own." So, I stopped the payments and booked a $540 flight to Spain on Christmas Eve. I left the office early, skipped the company's annual bonus dinner, and packed my life into a suitcase. At the family gathering, I noticed a sticky note on my chair, labeled for my brother's new fiancée. "She's just joined us," my mom said casually. "We thought you'd be okay standing." I nodded. Fine. Then I grabbed my bag and walked out. 31 minutes later, my sister texted, "You're too sensitive. It's not a big deal." I opened my banking app and froze the family support. But what my father said at 9:04 p.m. shifted everything. I flew across the country for this. A one-way ticket cost $540. I left work at noon, ditched the corporate dinner, stuffed my belongings into a duffel, and raced to the airport. Family still meant something to me. I hadn't seen them in person since last Christmas. We'd done the video calls, sent birthday messages, and exchanged "miss you" emojis. But this year, I was coming home. I pictured the aroma of baked ham, my mom's slightly charred cookies, and my dad hiding his tears during the midnight prayer. I imagined my place at the table. Instead, it was already claimed. Literally. I walked into the dining room, snow still clinging to my coat, carrying a damp gift bag with Dad's favorite bourbon. Then I saw it, a small pink sticky note on my chair. "Reserved for Eric's fiancée." No prank. No, just kidding. Just those words in my mom's handwriting. I stared, hoping it would vanish if I looked hard enough. "Oh," Mom said, stepping out of the kitchen with her usual grin, as if I hadn't crossed 3 time zones for this meal. "She's new. We figured you'd be fine standing like a guest, or worse, like I didn't belong." "Sure," I said quietly, automatically. Then I turned, grabbed my suitcase, and left. 31 minutes down the icy road, my phone buzzed. "So sensitive," my sister texted. "It wasn't a big deal." I stared at her words, pulse racing, finger hovering over the reply button. Instead, I opened my banking app and paused the family support payments. Done. But what my father said at 9:04 p.m. changed everything. It wasn't just the sticky note. That was merely the spark. The fuel had been building for years. I didn't head back to the motel. I pulled into a gas station, watched snow pile up on my windshield, and cranked the heater until my face burned. Then I started reflecting. The truth was, I'd always been the one who made things easy for them. When I landed my first tech job, Dad said, "Now you can finally help your family." He wasn't joking. That meant paying their bills. So I did. I covered their Wi-Fi, car insurance, even their winter utilities. Quietly, automatically, because that's what good sons do, right? Eric, my brother, was the free spirit. He dropped out of college, spent years drifting, finding himself. When he came back, broke from a failed snowboard venture, I let him crash at my place for 9 months, rent-free. I even paid for his counseling sessions to get his head straight. When Mom needed dental surgery last year, who covered the $3,400 bill insurance didn't touch? Me. When Dad's old truck died and he needed a reliable car for church, who co-signed the lease? Me. I never complained. Never brought it up. Even when I skipped vacations. Even when I ate cheap sandwiches for lunch while sending money for someone else's electricity. So when my sister texted, "So sensitive," I wanted to hurl my phone into the snow. I didn't. Instead, I scrolled through our family group chat. I noticed a pattern. Every time I shared a success, a promotion, a work trip, a raise, I got 1 or 2 nice replies. But when Eric's new girlfriend baked brownies, 27 comments, 3 heart emojis, and Mom's text, "She's a gem." It didn't stop there. Last July, I flew in to surprise Mom for her birthday. I arrived late, slept on the couch because Eric had temporarily taken my old room, and woke up to find them gone. They'd taken Eric's fiancée to a brewery tour. A note on the fridge read, "Back by 5, make yourself at home." They didn't save me a slice of cake, yet I still paid the next month's utility bill. Because that's what I was taught. Provide. Be the steady one. The invisible one. Eric could show up with debt, a bad credit score, and a woman he met 3 months ago, and they'd bend over backward to make her feel welcome, even giving her my chair. That sticky note wasn't just about seating, it was a signal. You're not needed anymore. So I made some calls. I canceled my automatic transfers. I told my accountant I was stopping the family trust contributions I'd been making for years because Dad preferred a retirement plan that dodged taxes. Then, for the first time in years, I acted for myself. I ordered spicy Thai takeout, sat alone in a motel room with my laptop open and a movie streaming, and felt nothing but clarity. Until 9:04 p.m. That's when Dad called. I stared at the screen, debating whether to answer. My finger hesitated, then swiped. "Hey," I said, flat. A pause, heavy with meaning. "You left," he said. "Yep, your mom's upset. She's the one who gave my chair away." Another pause, longer this time. "She didn't mean anything by it." "Sure, let's say that. What about Eric texting me 2 hours ago asking if I could help pay for their wedding next summer?" Silence. "Right," I said. "You didn't know that part." Dad sighed, deep and familiar. "You know how it is. Eric's not as lucky as you." "Lucky?" I laughed. "No, Dad. Eric's reckless. I'm responsible. There's a difference. He's improving. She's good for him. She's sitting in my chair. Don't be dramatic." There it was. The line they always used when I dared to speak up. I shut my eyes, pinching the bridge of my nose. "You know what, Dad? I'm done being the guy who works 60 hours a week so everyone else can play house. I'm done being your backup plan." "We never asked you to." "That's garbage," I snapped. "You expected it? You think because I never complained I was fine with it? Well, I'm not. I haven't been for a long time." Silence. Then softly, "Son, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm spending it alone in a motel by a gas station because you needed Eric's fiancée to feel welcome more than you needed your son at the table." Dad didn't speak again, so I hung up. That was the last I heard from him for 4 days. I hadn't planned to go back. Not after what they did. Not after what they didn't do. But Eric called 3 days after Christmas. His number flashed on my screen and I almost ignored it. Curiosity got the better of me. I answered. "What?" A hesitation, then, "Hey, weird question. Did you stop the family support payments?" I leaned back in my chair. "Yeah." "You didn't tell anyone." "Didn't need to." "Okay," he said, uncertain. "Well, things are tight. The January mortgage bounced." "I know." Silence. Then, in the softest, most manipulative tone I'd ever heard from him, "Maybe we could talk." I laughed, sharp. "Oh, now you want to talk? What changed? Run out of sticky notes?" "It was just a seat, man." "Number." It was a message. "You and Mom made that clear." I hung up. 5 minutes later, Mom texted, "Can we meet for coffee?" "It's not what you think." I didn't reply because I knew what was coming. Dad called that night. I let it ring. He left a voicemail. "We need to talk in person." Sunday dinner. I stared at the phone, heart pounding. Sunday dinner, my old tradition. Pot roast, apple pie. Everyone acting like they weren't quietly draining me. Something inside screamed to go, not to make peace but to end it. I showed up Sunday evening. Knocked once, let myself in as always. The house was spotless, suspiciously so, like they were staging a truce. Mom came out first, apron on. "You came," she said, smiling like we hadn't erased each other on Christmas. Dad was in his armchair, holding his glasses like he was busy. Eric and his fiancée sat on the couch. She wouldn't meet my eyes, probably embarrassed. "Good, dinner's almost ready," Mom said. "No need," I replied. "I'm not here to eat." Everyone froze. "I'm here for one reason, to say things I should have said years ago." "Sweetheart," Mom started. "No," I cut her off. "You don't get to sweetheart me, not after what you pulled." It was just a sticky note. "You think this is about the chair?" I laughed. "That was the final straw. This is about 20 years of you all treating me like the reliable one. Never a person, just a fix." Eric scoffed. "Dude, you're being dramatic again." "Don't," I snapped. "Just don't." I turned to Dad. "You let it happen. You watched me work overtime, pay your bills, skip my vacations while you threw parties for this guy when he remembered to show up. You let him take my seat and ask for money in the same breath. And the worst part? You all thought I'd just keep doing it." Dad stood slowly. "We never asked you to." "Exactly. You expected it. Because I never said no." Eric leaned forward. "You've always had money. You don't even have kids. It wasn't a big deal." I turned to him, anger burning. "You know what's a big deal? Working 60-hour weeks so Mom can have internet and you can plan a fancy winery wedding for your dating app match. I was good enough to pay for your counseling, but not good enough for a seat at the table." "Got it." Mom looked ready to cry. "We didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't mean anything. That's the issue. You never thought. Not about me. only about what I could give. The room went quiet. I pulled an envelope from my jacket and dropped it on the table. "What's this?" Dad asked. "Your taxes. I won't be handling them this year. You'll need a new accountant." "Wait, what?" Mom said, stunned. "I transferred the car lease back to you, canceled the insurance, and you've got 60 days before the health coverage I pay for runs out. Oh, and Eric." He looked up, confused. "That wedding fund you asked about? Use it for chairs. I'm not coming." "You're not serious," Mom said. "Dead serious. You made room for someone else. I'm making space for myself now." I walked out. They didn't follow. They didn't stop me. This time they knew. When I left, I expected silence. What I didn't expect was how calming it would feel. Like armor. No buzzing phone. No guilt-laced requests. No more, "Can you help out just this once?" That turned into a dozen. Just quiet. On Monday, I walked into work with a grin that surprised the receptionist. "Win the lottery?" she asked. I laughed. Sort of. I didn't elaborate. But that was the first day in years I drank my coffee warm, ate lunch without checking my bank balance after sending someone rent money, and slept through the night without a text from Eric saying, "Bro, can you spot me till Friday?" By Wednesday, the texts started. "Mom, honey, your father's upset. Let's talk. Come this weekend." Ignored. Then Eric. "Hey, Dad says you canceled their dental insurance. That's not cool." Then, "You still got the Netflix login? We can't get in." I blocked him. Dad called. I didn't answer. His voicemail started calm and ended with a threat. "I don't understand how you can abandon your family after all we've done for you." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. All they'd done for me? Like giving my chair to a stranger? Like accepting every bailout I offered while treating me like a problem when I set a boundary? No, not this time. They expected me to fold, feel guilty, and crawl back like always. Instead, I made it worse for them. I thrived. I signed up for a 2-week photography workshop in Colorado, something I'd always wanted but couldn't afford because I was paying their bills. I rejoined my gym, took long walks, deleted the family group chat. I blocked my sister after she added me back. I went for drinks with coworkers and for the first time didn't lie about why I was always tired. I told the truth. My family's a financial sinkhole, and I finally cut them off. One guy raised his glass. Respect. That word hit differently. Respect wasn't about staying quiet. It was about saying enough. Then came the call. 9:04 p.m., 2 weeks after the Christmas Eve mess. I almost didn't answer. The number was blocked, but something made me swipe. "Hello?" The voice was soft. "Hey, it's Dad." He sounded older, exhausted. "I'm at the hospital." I sat up. "What happened?" "Your mom collapsed in the kitchen. Dehydration, stress. Doctors say it's not serious, but she's shaken. She's been crying, asking for you." I said nothing. "You've made your point," he added, loud and clear. "But maybe you can stop punishing us." My blood boiled. "Punishing you? You think I'm punishing you because I stopped being your bank? I'm not punishing you. Mom let me walk out of Christmas like a stranger. Don't use her tears now." Silence. Then quietly, "She told me about the chair." It was her idea. She thought Eric's fiancé would feel out of place otherwise. "And it never crossed your mind that I might feel out of place?" "We didn't mean it that way." "That's the problem. You never mean it, but it's always the same. I give, you take." Another pause. Then, barely audible, "I miss you, son." Something twisted in my chest. Not pain, not regret, just clarity. "I miss who you used to be too," I said, "before you traded me for convenience." I hung up. Days passed. Then a message came. Not from Eric, but from her. His fiancée. The one who took my seat. Text. "I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to say this." I didn't know. Pause. Another text. "Your mom said you'd be late and wouldn't stay long." I only found out what happened after you left. If I'd known, I wouldn't have taken your chair. Then the bombshell. Eric told me you were loaded, that you'd be fine standing, that you don't care about family stuff anyway. I'm so sorry. For a moment, I didn't know what to feel, but then it hit me like a brick. He knew I was coming. He told her to take my chair. He knew what it would do, and he wanted it. Eric always resented what I stood for: responsibility, success, consequences. He was the chaos they adored. I was the anchor they depended on, and resented. Not anymore. The next week, my parents sent a formal email. Subject: family plan. It was a PDF with budgets, timelines, and a path to independence. Like a corporate pitch. Desperate. They were trying to prove they could survive without me, begging for a second chance, asking for 3 months of transitional support before a full financial cutoff. I stared at the numbers, then hit delete. By March, the calls stopped. By April, I'd closed all shared accounts. By May, I'd booked a solo trip to Barcelona. Somewhere between the flight and my first bite of tapas, I realized something I'd never believed before. I didn't need them. Not the way they'd made me think. Not to define me. Not to validate me. And definitely not to own me. Barcelona was loud. Not the traffic or the crowds or the festivals. It was the world's volume when you step out of someone else's shadow. I wandered the Gothic quarter with my phone on airplane mode. No family group chats, no texts from Eric, no just one more favor. Just my footsteps on ancient stone and the thrill of silence I'd earned. Every evening I watched the sunset from a different corner of the city. On the fourth night, a stranger joined my table at a rooftop bar. She had untamed curls and eyes that didn't shy away. We talked for hours about nothing and everything. She asked where I was from. I paused, then said, "I used to be a family guy. Now I'm just me." She laughed. "Sounds like freedom." I nodded. Back home, life moved on. I was promoted to senior systems architect, a role people fought for, with access to board meetings and input on company strategy. My boss said, "You've been too quiet for too long. People are noticing you now." That landed differently. For years, I'd been the guy who quietly held things together, at work, at home, everywhere. Now people saw me, not just needed me, they respected me. For the first time, I didn't feel like a tool. In June, something unexpected arrived, a wedding invitation. Eric and his fiancée, Rustic Winery. July 16th, RSVP by June 30th. I set it on the counter, let it sit like a test I already knew the answer to. The envelope was thick, creamy, expensive. Inside, next to the RSVP card, was a handwritten note from her. "I hope you'll come. He still doesn't get what he did, and I think he's scared to admit it. You were right to walk away, but maybe he needs to see you stand your ground in person." I stared at the note for a long time, then tossed it in the trash. On July 16th, the wedding day, I was at a beach in Santa Cruz, riding a rented bike along the cliffs, letting the ocean breeze hit my face. I didn't check my phone until after sunset. One missed call. Mom. One text. He kept looking at the door all night like he was waiting for you. I stared at it. Didn't reply. Not because I wanted to hurt him. I was just done playing the hero for people who never saved a seat for me. August brought a surprise. I ran into Eric's fiancée, now his wife, at a bookstore. She looked thinner, paler, like someone forcing a smile through broken glass. She saw me, froze, then walked over. "I didn't expect to see you," she said. "I live here," I replied. She paused. "We moved back in with your parents." Of course they did. "They offered," she added quickly. "It's just temporary. Eric's job fell through. He's still figuring things out." "It always is." She looked at her hands. "He's not doing well." "Not my problem." Her eyes, red-rimmed, met mine. "I know. I wish you were his brother." That lingered longer than I expected. Not because I pitied him, but because someone finally saw it. I didn't respond. Just nodded, grabbed my book, and left. September. My birthday. I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't waiting for it. But just before noon, a delivery arrived. No return address. Inside, a plain black box, a folded card, one line. You were right about everything. I'm sorry. Inside was the bourbon I'd brought for Christmas Eve, still sealed. They'd never opened it. I sat there staring at the bottle. Then I stood, walked to my balcony, and opened it myself. Poured a glass. To nobody but me. By November, I'd sold my condo and moved out of state. New city, bigger windows, new furniture, no ghosts. The final step, I changed my phone number, deleted the old backups, burned the last bridge. But before I did, I wrote a message, copied it, sent it to Mom, Dad, and Eric. Same text. No room for negotiation. This is the last you'll hear from me. I'm not angry. I'm done. I gave you everything. Time, money, love, patience. You took it, spent it, called it normal. Then you left me standing, literally. I'm not standing anymore. I'm walking away. For good. No hard feelings, just firm boundaries. Goodbye. Sent. I let go. Peacefully. And here's the key part. I don't miss them. Not the guilt. Not the manipulation. Not the tense silences after every no I dared to say. Not the unseen burden of being the family's foundation while they built dreams on my shoulders. I miss the person I was around them. The guy who thought being needed was being loved. He's gone now. Someone stronger, wiser, freer took his place. Maybe I missed Christmas dinner. Maybe I stood outside a house I'd paid for, holding a gift nobody wanted. But walking away, that was the greatest gift I ever gave myself. And it's the last gift I'll ever give. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.